Hello, Mark. How are you?
Doing okay.
Yes. Well, what a wonderful day. What a wonderful week. What a wonderful life.
It has been a good week.
Oh, really? I
Yes.
want to hear. Tell me why.
Let's see. I went to my buddy Liam's party for 4th of July,
Oh, nice.
and it was actually a triple party. It was like he turned 30, he just had a kid, and he just graduated with a master's degree from National Taiwan University, which is the best one on the island. So it's a good party. Met up with like literally everybody in my mastermind from people who do similar kinds of businesses.
Okay.
And my French buddy Julian had like surpassed 10K. So that was awesome.
Love
Really
it.
good social time. Very inspiring, like motivated me to work on stuff. And I hit my main goal, which was the diet one.
Oh, cool.
Actually
Yeah.
did like more than a 24-hour fast after the 4th of July party. So that was an added bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got out, exercised, did a lot of programming, did a lot of studying stuff I wanted to, and I am super happy to have the Reactor site launched, which means other than making a screencast of the last stuff I did between last time and today, the series is done. I can go on and teach other stuff instead of continuing on after 15 videos in the series on LiveView.
Reactor is live. Reactor.am.
Live. You can go there and sign up, leave comments,
Wow.
or
That is
not sign
so
up.
cool.
Just check out the shows.
I love it.
It's
I'm
it's
very
good to have it out
excited.
there.
Yes. So we have an official website that I can tell people, and I'm going to tell everyone in the world, reactor.am.
Well, you already tweeted it, which I guess that I got it out like just before our show last time because you tweeted it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I updated, as you know.
There will be more tweeting.
We have a story. Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah. Well, thank you. I thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it. To have it out there. So we've got a working email address, hosts@reactor.am, and a working website. Yay.
Yes.
Perfect. So I shall mention it. I shall tweet it. I shall mention it. And that is good. For me, I don't think I didn't have like a super important diet goal. I guess I just wanted to stay under the 70% within blood sugar range, and I kind of did that. My main goal was to get the boot camp ready for review, and well, what I really tried hard to do was, did I talk about this, the female male mix? Had we had that discussion on the last show?
You did mention a little bit. I didn't say a whole lot. I just mentioned that my old YouTube channel had been the reverse, like when I was talking about language learning and childhood education. And then I moved to this programming, totally different subject, and my channel audience is almost all male now.
I'm telling you what, it has been hard to find girls to review that content, and I've posted to Indie Hacker women group, and then in the microconf Slack posted there, but I did find three ladies to review it, but none of them did until my sister. So my sister was the first one. And then she went through it. So she's been getting into internet marketing, digital product type of stuff. And she loved it up until the end of lesson 3. And then she was like, she said, she's Irish. And she's like, it was a snooze fest after lesson 3. And she's like completely blunt and honest. And like, I'm like, okay.
That's good.
So like, tell me, okay. So, and what was really interesting is that everything after lesson 3, maybe it was lesson 4. I can't remember. It was 3 or 4. I just copy and pasted from Nugget, from the Startup Academy. Everything before then, I rewrote this time, and I already found it a bit dry, and I already reworked it to be more interesting and fun. I didn't rework the other stuff that I pulled in. So, for example, one of the things I talk about is the successful business stack in the Nugget Bootcamp, and I turned that into the profit cake.
The profit cake is so good.
And she loved the profit cake, and she loved that idea, but it didn't have the same sort of level of fun and quirkiness and symbolism, the rest of it. So I'm now just going to use chocolate cake for almost every metaphor that I can. So
Well,
I'm just
you had like the same 4 steps. You just
yeah.
changed the color and made a more interesting picture, and it's more
That's right.
memorable.
Just use exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm just in the so I've told all the other ladies, the other 3. Do you say what's the most polite thing to say to ladies, girls, women? What should I say?
Um,
The other
I
3
mean, I
founders?
would just founders, women, ladies. I think I don't know. Like ladies, I wouldn't say as much, but that might be like U.S., UK.
Yeah,
I don't know.
girls. Because
Girls, I
you
mean,
don't say
some
girls because
people.
that's young, right?
I mean,
That
yeah,
means
it sounds
young.
like you're implying
But
everyone's
women
like still a
sounds like
student.
you don't say women
I
because
think
then
it's
that
fine.
sounds like as if it's a like yeah, I don't know. That sounds weird too.
It's. I mean, I usually don't. I don't say women or men. I just because usually I'm not focused on that.
That's right.
I just say like I would just say
And me
like
too. But
students or people or
But
something.
in this case, it is. I do
Yeah.
need to focus on that because it's about like getting an 50-50 mix.
What's well,
It
what's
needs to
the
be an
breakdown like
informal.
in Nugget? I mean, so I'm surprised because like Laura is a co-founder of
Yeah,
Nugget, and
exactly,
all the
exactly.
emails come from her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we haven't. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's tough because like it's just the overall demographics are very skewed, and a lot of people are trying to change that, which means like those people you emailed or asked to review are probably getting other emails from
Well,
many others, except your
I
sister.
so when I posted to the MicroConf group, and one person told me, okay, womenmake.com or something like that. Go and join that. So I went to join Women Make, and then I joined the Telegram group, and I said, hey, I'm Justin. I'm writing this boot camp. I'm trying to get like an equal representation from female and male. And within about 5 hours, my account was deleted.
Really?
Yeah,
Maybe
just because I'm imagining people, they just probably either just
they
don't
saw it
want.
as spam.
I
Maybe.
think so. Yeah, they sort of spam, and that's fine. That's fine. I get it. I don't
Yeah.
hold a grudge or something. Anyway, my sister, she reviewed it and did a really great job. And just gave me clarity. So now I'm just back in that Illustrator file where I made the cake and turning the cake into all sorts of different illustrations to highlight the different points. Like because it makes sense. Like it's thematic through the boot camp. Then so like like a market slice.
A
Obviously
market
it's like
slice.
a market
That is
slice of
good. That
cake.
is good.
Yeah. So that's what I'm working on. So the next plan is to finish that up with the rewording, and then send it to the 3 guys, ladies, girls.
We definitely not call them guys.
Okay. So I'll send it out to the 3 reviewers and see what they think. And hopefully they like it. And then hopefully I can put an equal mix of people on the page, and then hopefully the boot camp can be inclusive. The main thing that Sarah Jane, my sister, pointed out to me, which is really good, is that the principles of Nugget are not just about software. But because I'm a software guy, because I'm a techie guy, I've written the whole thing through the lens of software. So when you read it, it makes so much sense for a software developer. But honestly, it's exactly the same level of applicability to someone creating a digital product. And she is all about digital products. She's not about software. So whenever she sees something about software, her eyes kind of glaze over. But when she sees something about digital product, she's really into it because that's what she's really into. And so the main takeaway I got from it is I just need to make the boot camp and Nugget by extension just more about digital products and software products, and just highlight the difference. And if you're into digital products, this is the part for you. And if it, but most of it's applicable. Really, only the parts that are slightly different are when I'm listing out the product types and the pros and cons of product types. Apart from that, it's all directly applicable.
I'm starting to feel like his affiliate, but I've got to bring up Brennan Dunn again.
Okay.
Because his famous double your freelancing course. Actually, it's like a whole site with a suite of courses. There's like the entry level double your freelancing one that it's like the first thing he tries to get everyone to buy, and then he has all kinds of other ones, including the ConvertKit one I bought and a different one I bought called Blueprint. and he's written pretty extensively about how double your freelancing was aimed just at programmers at first. Like all of his audience was developers because he was a Rails developer himself.
Yeah.
And then it broadened out to designers and then other people. Then it ended up being like just all kinds of freelancers.
Yeah.
It wasn't a huge problem. Like he didn't have to change the material of the course too much. But what he did do is he started adding examples of, designers and other people who had done well with it. And he's all into personalization. So you're segmented when you go to his site, and is actually using his own software tools to do it, but based on things you've clicked on in emails from him or things you've clicked on the site or which article you were reading when you signed up for the email list, you are going to get a different pitch for the exact same product, depending on if you've been bucketed as developer or designer or
so the product itself
else.
Doesn't change. It's just the way in.
No, the product doesn't change, but the sales page you see, say like if you're a designer, it would have 5 testimonials and 3 of them would be from designers.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I mean, that's classic landing page theory. I mean, you always want to speak to your audience. So your landing page is targeted at your audience. We'll play Roblox in like half an hour. So So you were just saying that that Brendan done the same thing, and I was saying, that's cool.
I was just saying he had started with targeting developers and had broadened the targeting, and the course itself didn't have to change. He just added more, more testimonials, and he showed people like themselves.
So it's completely possible. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm feeling very good about the bootcamp. The audio tapes that I did on the bottom of each section, I'm feeling very good about.
I like those.
I'm feeling good about this. This is good. I just, more than making money, I just want it to be a great place for any indie founder, genuinely. So that, because so many founders, there's so many conversations I have with founders, and it's like, okay, look, I really want you to understand this, but I don't want to have to say the same thing every time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's why I don't comment on indie hackers much anymore.
So I just want to like send people there and say, go there and then let's talk, because that's going to give you all the information, the basic information. So then once you've got all that basic understanding, then your case becomes applicable, because I don't need to just like go through all these basic concepts. And there's a lot of misconceptions that founders have. It's so funny. I was thinking, what was it? I haven't done a tape for the very end, and I had this concept. I don't know if I'm going to go with this, but I'm just going to tell you. The concept for the tape was going to be called "That's Not Important," and basically, I was then going to go through a stream of things that, when you're at that phase, you think that thing's important, but actually that's not important. What's important is this. Like, for example, the very beginning, okay, you think, oh, I need to come up with a great idea, when you first start out. But actually, that's not important. What's important is you need to find a market,
Yeah. I think this sounds like really good content marketing material too. Like, probably I could see that doing well on Hacker News.
Yeah. And it's like every layer, every sort of level up or whatever, you think, okay, now I've done this, so this is important, but actually usually no, that's not important. It's this other thing that's important, and it kind of goes through the whole way. So I thought that might be an interesting.
I had a couple of thoughts about this, because I've tried sharing your boot camp with a number of people now. 3 of my podcast interviewees. One of them was a very good friend, the French guy who just crossed 1K. And let's see, those 3 people, then a couple other people I know, and it's the best of my knowledge, even people who I had responded to a question related to this stuff with. I don't think any of them have checked it out, or they've like looked at it and were like, oh, I'll check it out later, kind of thing. Like, I think there's a lot of laziness And I mean, it's just totally natural. Just you see
Hmm.
something is like more than you can go through right now, so you just put it off.
Yeah.
And
Everyone's had the same reaction because when you get there, you realize, I think this is what I think the thought process is. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the way that the page is laid out, you realize, oh, I'm probably going to learn something here. I probably need to pay attention. This actually is a decent amount of reading. It's like I need to actually get in study mode to do this. It's not something I
exactly.
could just read. I've got to be in study mode. And so I'm just going to wait until study mode and wait until I've got like a spare afternoon or something like that. And I think that's just what it is. Yeah.
I think that's half of it. Then the other half is credibility. Like if they don't know you yet,
Okay.
it's a big ask. So I think it's kind of similar to my problem with sharing videos on Hacker News or Reddit or something, because a video is a really big ask also. So unless they already know who I am or they've already gotten some benefit from my, smaller tutorials before, they're just not even going to check the 20-minute YouTube video or 30-minute YouTube video.
So you're thinking do smaller pieces of content marketing to get them into the boot camp in the first place?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. Like either A, they need to see like you are, you've helped XYZ people get 3 other random variables done. So, you've helped, person 1 get to this revenue. You've helped person 2 get something, something like from just lots of traffic, but no money to monetizing it, something like that.
So that's just about the landing page, like so because basically what you're sending them to is like it's right into it. It's not it. We were talking about landing pages just a second ago.
Yeah.
So basically, there will be a landing page that sort of that shows you. But you bring up an interesting point. I've got an assumption because everything I've done, everything I've released through Product Hunt has become product of the day. Number 1 to 3 or
Nice.
something like
Okay.
that. And so I'm kind of
How much of that's the title though?
I've got like an assumption that that's going to happen, but that may well not happen. I mightn't get any traffic from this bootcamp. It's quite possible.
Yeah. I also Product Hunt. I'm not sure how much those people actually check out the sites, because I've seen some kind of broken stuff on there when I was doing some research. So
They definitely go there.
I think a lot of the upvotes are from people that haven't even really checked out the thing, and they like the title or they like the idea of it.
Yeah.
And like you get there and it's like just some, I don't know, it's like some table of data, something that someone put together once and is like clearly not going to be updated in the future, and it's just not even a product.
Well, I've definitely got over 2,500 people on a mailing list from each time it went on.
It's amazing. Hunt. Okay.
So from me, there was enough people clicking through that I ended up with I've got like a 6,000 person mailing list. To be honest, my mailing list does keep growing, and I end up having to prune it, because I'm not one of those people who tends to their mailing list very well, and that's something I need to work on.
Maybe you could do the boot camp as an email course, like just send out one each day or something.
Well, it's too long to do that. But yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, I don't know. It's too long. Each lesson takes each lesson would have to be split into 3 emails.
Gotcha. Probably. Okay. Yeah. Just
sign up for this
ideas.
21-day boot camp, maybe.
Yeah, it's a tough one because like as a consumer, I get way more out of long form content than I do out of short form content. Like the value for me to read like one good book is much better than 100 blog posts. But I'm way less likely to start the book unless it's a higher activation energy by far. I probably have heard the author in a podcast or read their previous books.
I think that's the next thing that I'm going to do is so I'm sort of being drawn down the bootcamp Nugget rabbit hole when I want to get back to task flow.
Uh-huh.
But what I'm going to do is release the bootcamp, put it on Product Hunt, send it out to the 6,000 people on the mailing list, Then I'm going to use Mateo's HustleJet, which is his product, which he's doing. So Mateo, Mateo's the guy that I've been working with in Nugget. We've been working closely to sort of hyper iterate to get him to his product, and his product is HustleJet. And basically, what HustleJet does is you type in good keywords, bad keywords, which create your customer persona, and then HustleJet goes out and brings leads to you based off that from the internet. And so that is pretty cool. Now, right now, it's Wizard of Oz technique, and he's bringing the leads to you. And the leads he's bringing are really, really good quality. And he's built using a no-code system. He's basically built a landing page. He's built like sign up. Like you can get going, and you can start getting leads. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. He's doing exactly what Nugget says, which is great. But I would like to use his service. I'm going to basically type in startup founder podcast hosts, and then I'm just going to get that list from him, from his service, and then send them an email and say, hey, I'd love to talk to you about startup-y stuff, on your podcast. And that will be my next and final thing, hopefully. And then I'll get into Taskflow.
That's cool. Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what's stopping you from launching Nugget? Because that was your main goal.
Nugget. Well, how do you mean? What's stopping me from launching Nugget?
Launching the bootcamp, like putting on Product Hunt.
Oh, what's stopping me is I just have to rewrite the last 3 lessons now with the cakes, with the new cake imagery, and then ask the girls to review it so that I can then have 3 male founders and 3 female founders on the front page. And then I'm going to
reviews.
And then I'm going to post it to Product Hunt. But getting the reviews has turned out to be kind of cool because people have said, no, this isn't good. I don't understand this. So it's helped me make the course better as well as get the reviews.
That is good.
Yeah.
That is good. Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like good progress. Then once that's done, you can go on to TaskFlow.
Yeah, with TaskFlow and, manage my new game development company. And did we talk about that last week?
You did, but you told me not to put that in the video.
Oh, did I?
I haven't edited it yet, so it's all right.
Huh. Maybe there was some way I said it.
Yeah, I'll listen carefully now. And maybe you just meant for the part where you were showing some of the scenes.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah, showing the scenes. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to... Let's talk about you for a bit because this is too much, Justin.
Yes. Okay. So... Alchemist Camp is doing pretty well. I'm at the highest number of subscribers ever, which means I gained 1 more from last week. I haven't
nice.
actually published a YouTube video in 3 weeks now, which is way more than I want.
Oh, heresy! Heresy.
It is. No, it is bad because I've been talking more with my French buddy who's just broken 10K last month, and I think a huge part of it is he just dramatically increased the volume of videos he put on YouTube. He made shorter ones and easier ones, actually.
Yeah.
He made easier ones for him to create, but he went from like lower frequency than me to doing one every single day for 2 months and then dropped down to 3 times a week because every day was just unsustainable. And but it's made for crazy growth.
But not just that, like he's done because you showed me his stuff, and so each video is very encapsulated. It's very small. It sort of answers a specific problem. It answers a specific problem. It's very good content marketing, right? So it's So are you going to do that with your stuff?
I'm not going to go like the full edutainment route like he did.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it useful stuff. But I'm gonna
keep it useful.
I mean, he's got a lot of just BS videos, which are funny, but they're, it is what it is.
Well, that kind of gets people into you, yeah.
Not BS, but BSing. He's just kind of like riffing on something.
Yeah. Okay.
As opposed to teaching something in a tutorial. But I'm gonna do I've decided to do this do a series on just like the basics of using Ecto, which is the main database library for Elixir. And there's a lot of stuff I can go over, like from very basic stuff to stuff that maybe less than 1% of Elixir devs ever use or know about. and I can do these like little modular 5-minute videos or under 10-minute videos about that. And I think, again, like that's a smaller ask. Is someone can be like, oh yeah, how does XYZ work? And just click in and see how to.
Do people who do Elixir earn
Yeah.
more
Then who?
than other people?
Then
Is it a
the
premium?
median salary?
Yeah, is it a premium dev role?
No, I don't think the language has that big of an effect. Like I think they do earn more than the average because they're way more senior on average. It's not like a common first language, but for like someone with the same amount of experience, I think you'd see like just as high or maybe slightly higher salary with Java or.
I'm just wondering, is there any way into those content videos for you that is not just about Elixir, that like somehow brings people in just to even learn about Elixir in the first place because of some interesting thing about it, you know?
Yeah.
Just to get a broader audience, you know, like I guess it could just be about the basics of what Elixir does.
Yeah, I really don't think I'm going to be the one to be converting people to the language from other languages, but I can certainly get like a way bigger percentage of the people learning it using my videos. And that in turn will make them make more stuff, and then that will make more stories for Elixir.
Okay, got it. Yeah, nice.
But I'm not, you know, I'm not. I have. So did I mention rereading Garyvee's old book last time?
No, you didn't.
Okay, so I did. I reread it, and like his content strategy was really interesting because he, I mean, he wrote about all the stuff he was going to do, and then he did it, right?
Yeah.
which makes it like the rare book that's more interesting in retrospect. But the two big things I got out of it that I didn't get out of it last time were he started with a really niche market, like super, super niche, and that made a lot of content about it. And he got some audience, and then he started broadening it in concentric circles. So, you know, first he was like just talking about selling wine, and then it was like wine in general, and then it was like selling stuff in general, and then it was like more and more marketing stuff. And the other thing is he jumped on different growing social media platforms really early. Like he was on YouTube 15 years ago, and he was one of the early people onto Snapchat, one of the early people on Vine, and Vine, like, you know, it doesn't exist anymore, but he was benefiting from the growth of those channels while he was on them. So his audience was growing just by virtue of him still doing the same stuff on this thing where the whole pool is growing.
Yeah.
And that was pretty motivating to me. It's like making me think I should maybe go back to Twitch, do some more stuff on Twitch than I have.
TikTok, you can do some dancing.
Oh, that's probably shrinking though. Like TikTok's getting banned everywhere.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah.
You could do some what other new networks are there? There's always going to be new networks.
Yeah, well, they don't have to be super, super new because Elixir is already pretty niche, but like Twitch is growing at a faster rate than YouTube.
Yeah,
it's smaller, and YouTube is growing faster than like Facebook live streaming. So it's like YouTube is not bad. It's just you know, kind of keep an eye on the new stuff, and then, you know, as I said before, like gradually branch into more stuff. And some of that stuff, like with the say the Ecto series I mentioned. I can do some videos where there's no code in it at all. Yeah. And I'm just talking about database things, you know, like how do you solve, like how do you make a how do you make a polymorphic association, or why wouldn't you want to make a polymorphic association? Like that kind of stuff would be useful to like any developers, or at least any backend developers. So yeah, I had that on the mind, and I guess that's like the main. I guess those are the main inspirations this last week. Just talking to my buddy and then reading that book.
That's cool. That's cool. Oh, so what have I got going on? So did I tell you about Nugget Octane?
Nugget Octane. I don't think you have.
So I wanted to work with a few founders, to pick a few founders who I've been sort of seeing, who've really got level 1 and 2 down, who've really got down how to build an audience, and they're good at that, but they haven't quite worked out how to earn cash,
Well,
how
you
to
have
convert
talked about
audience into
this.
cash.
You've talked about
Yeah,
this.
cool. Yeah. So I did my first weekly session with 2 founders. I'm calling it Nugget Octane. It's just
I just didn't know the name.
that's just a placeholder name. Maybe it's the real name, and it's not anything other than just a weekly, I guess, mentoring session / masterminding session. And I'm hoping to bring in maybe 5 founders into that. I've got 2 founders so far. There's Matteo and Michael Lynch, and both of them are doing well. Michael Lynch he is extremely good at building traffic, and he's been doing good with blogging. And I'll give you his blog to put in the show notes after this. But one of the things, he's got like lots of different projects that he's playing with and trying out. I've already told you Mateo's, which is HustleJet. Well, his one that he's sold is he's already sold 1 copy, I believe, 1 pre-sale, which is like a Raspberry Pi thingamajiggy that will plug into your computer and allow you to control your computer, even kind of change the BIOS. So
Okay.
it's like headless computers that you can manage without a keyboard. You can manage, like, you could have like 50 headless computers, and you could manage them all because they each have one of these devices plugged in, and you can sort of get in there and manage and change the BIOS or go into the computer. And it's quite a cool little thing,
It does sound cool.
that he's created. And he's already pre-sold 1, so that's interesting. And I'm sort of enjoying working with those guys. And I guess my grander vision for it would be just in the context of Nugget, when I do see a founder who I think, they are going somewhere, they're going to, because they've sort of proven the basics, then maybe bring them in. And then maybe if it becomes too big for me, because obviously I couldn't have 10 people in there, I might be able to have 5. Maybe those guys could then go off and do their own weekly group. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. Yeah. I think there's a lot of stuff where you just get so much more benefit from like deeper interactions with smaller groups. So
I just have to convince them to run their own Nugget, Octane group, because I'm basically not charging anything for it, and I don't want to charge anything for it. I just want to see people be successful. So it's sort of like like the office hours accelerator experience you might get in a Y Combinator without any money. You don't give me any money, and I don't give you any money.
Yeah.
It's just like let's just help you navigate and get to the right place faster. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is, because my kid, I did Roblox. Basically, I just think there's some I think there's some cash to be made in Roblox. Yeah, I think there's some cash to be made, and I want to investigate. So. And it's not a big upfront cost, and I just want to explore the potential.
I think this is a black swan farming move.
Yes, exactly.
Like there's definitely some cash to be made, but it's probably like a winner take most kind of thing. It's going to be a power distribution. So if you hit it out of the park, it'll be amazing. And hit it out of the park could be with a really simplistic game that's like just about the right thing.
So,
but
I think that there might be more to it than that, a little bit more, because I keep on discovering games, and there's like 14,000 people playing it right now, and it's made a couple of $1 million over the last few years, and it's like, how can there be that many? And then when I realized, no, there's over 100 million people on this platform, and they love this platform. And 100 million splits up into a lot of 10,000s, Well,
the whole thing is the supply and the demand, right? Like a lot of times a popular game will not have very many devs at all working on stuff for it. And then like once word gets out, then it'll be flooded within a year. So if you're like early enough in the curve, like, it could be really easy. Just like the App Store, right? Like, it used to be you could make an iPhone app that was just trivial and ridiculous and make a whole bunch of money from it.
Yeah.
So I think
so I think
go
that's
the same path.
it's interesting to explore, and you know, like the guy I'm working with, he's fresh out of college from a game designing course, so he's
Cool.
enthusiastic. You know, he's enthusiastic about it. He's just started working on Upwork. It's sort of like it's sort of like one of his first contracts. So I think that could be fun as well. You know, just working with someone in that way, and I can afford it. I can afford to do that, which is like that's new as well. To be in a position to be able to, he's the right price, in combination with I have enough spare cash to
That is
play
cool.
to play that game for at least 3 months.
Cool.
See where that goes.
Well, I look forward to hearing about it. And you know he's a real person, right?
Yeah, he's a real. Oh yeah, I have conversations
He's
with him.
not like a collective of 12 people
No,
have been
no, no, no.
outsourced. Okay.
He's a regular person. I've spoken to him like this multiple times, so
Awesome.
that's fine. Um, but having all these things does make me really want TaskFlow to exist, because I still end up with that major problem of like, how do I decide how to appropriate my working time? Like I have a lot of different things and very, very small amount of time. And I
Yeah.
want to quantify what is the absolute best thing I should be doing at this moment, which is TaskFlow, which is why I really want to start coding it. And I started coding the game and realized that doesn't make sense. I don't have like years and years experience of making games. I should just let the guy build it. I should be making TaskFlow. That's better for this family. And that's the kind of thing that TaskFlow would have helped me decide.
Well, you can do it. I mean, no one's stopping you from
No,
doing task flow.
well, yes, there is someone stopping me. It's me, and it's time, and it's getting
Exactly.
the Nugget boot camp out there, and it's so yeah.
I would just, well, you know my approach. I would just like get something out there ASAP, like I did with Phoenix Igniter, and I've gotten some emails from people that are like, "Hey, so any updates coming soon?" And I'm beginning to get this external pressure pushing me back to it.
Well, exactly. I mean, that will be my next thing with TaskFlow. It wouldn't really be my next thing that I probably should be doing if I follow the Nugget strategy is not building it, is building the market at the same time as building it. At least 50-50.
Yeah.
At least
By the
50.
way, so I've been looking at the stats for the Reactor podcasts
Yeah.
listens, and these are, again, like, these don't include Spotify data. They don't include Google Play. It's just the data that Pinecast can get from iTunes or other open RSS feeds, and the getting task flow into new layer of the market's been dethroned. That was like the number one listened to one, but now Justin's side project is ahead of it, as well as the first episode, which I don't really count because that's automatic.
So what how many listeners do we have?
So we have 60 subscribers, which is the most I've ever seen it. It was 51 last week.
That's insane.
YouTube, I haven't published anything to in the last week and a half. YouTube is still the same number of subscribers, but views are up a bit. I've had about 5 a day. So yeah, it is growing a bit, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's very good.
So let's talk about the site. I had all kinds of thoughts.
Oh, what, for the Reactor site?
Yeah. Because about the audio links, about information density, about all these things I'm very passionate about.
Okay.
So
you want to talk about the fact that I called you up and said our site sucks?
change everything. No, you just said, hey, let's change these things, and
well, I mean, you've got to keep in mind I do UI for a living.
Yeah.
So
I do.
Yeah, so that's the right. I still have some thoughts about it.
So yeah,
things I just don't understand.
So I wanted the audio links on, like, basically I wanted a link to the audio on every single episode on the index page. And the reason for this is because of my own frustration getting the basically downloading podcasts from other sites. Like I used to be a digital nomad, so I was flying more than every 3 months, and anytime that happens, like I need to load up a bunch of podcasts on my player, and I also like to listen to podcasts while I'm programming. I mean, not if I'm doing something difficult. Like if it gets difficult, I'll just hit pause and stop. But just kind of like something in the background when I'm doing like rote stuff is kind of helpful. Helps me like not get bored.
Yeah.
So I like to download these podcasts, and what I've found is it's kind of a pain to get them from iTunes. Like you can't just like download one after the other and get at the files conveniently, like because iTunes is all its own little world.
Mm-hmm.
And on most podcast sites, it takes a bunch of clicks. Like if I want to download 5 episodes, it's more hassle, getting in and out of the index page and the specific show pages to download them. And so my go-to to download a bunch of podcasts is I'll actually get them on my phone through the podcatcher, and it's an Android phone. I hook that up to my computer, and then I copy the MP3 files from the Android to my computer, and then I've got them there when I'm coding.
So
But
that's
with
yeah.
texting, I couldn't even do that for the old ones because they were on Dropbox. So I had to click into Dropbox. And again, it's like I had to like click into each individual file, and like you can't just like right click on the link
Couldn't
and
you just
download.
you couldn't just download the whole of the Dropbox folder?
No, it's too big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I also couldn't like right click on the individual links and download like you used to be able to do on Dropbox, because they're actually links to a separate page for that file. So you have to like click to the page and then download each one. And I was like, this is like a worse user experience than like what I had in 1998 as a college student. Like,
Right. So that's why you wanted to put a play button on the index page next to
I
every.
want to be able to open up 5 in tabs and like dip in, or I want to be able to like right click and download them, which I did make possible. It's kind of like Reddit versus Dig. It's like well, there are two things. Like one is like with Dig, you couldn't go directly to any of the links. It's like you click the link and that opens an individual page for the link, and then you have to click the link on that one to actually get to the site.
But I think we need to give
to.
people some context, because you just sound like you're kind of mad and ranting about something.
I am.
But there's no
I
context.
like getting at information quickly.
Okay,
I want the fire hose.
So the context is that I called Mark up and said, I really love our site, but the problem with it is now that I use it, you've got a play button on the main index.
Yeah.
And what the play button does is they can click play and it opens up a new tab with the MP3 in the new tab. And I said,
actually, it wasn't even a new tab. That's only if you
middle click. Oh, yeah, not even a new tab. That's even worse.
Middle click to get a new tab.
And I said,
well, no, it's better because you get the choice.
It's worse. But I said, I'll tell you why I think it's worse. It's worse from my perspective, because I think people should only listen to the show. Not only, but the main way, like when you come to an index of all the shows, and then you click on a show link, I think that it should take you into the show with the show notes, with the player, with the comments, so that it's encapsulated as a single show. So you're not in some separated tab where you've just got an MP3. Because then if you listen to the show and you think, you hear something interesting, I want to comment on that. Now it's a pain because you've got to open a new tab, you've got to go to reactor.am, you've got to click into the show, you've got to get to the comment. So what I said was we shouldn't have a play button on the index in the first place. The only thing you should be able to do really is just click into the show and then click play. And so that was really the disagreement. Yeah.
And I think, I think that's about a separate thing. So like the thing I want to do as a user is not the thing you want to optimize for.
Yeah.
But the other thing though is like just from a strategic sense, I think most people are not commenters. Like commenters are the most engaged tiny fraction.
Yeah.
And I think what's higher up in the funnel is listening. Like if you don't listen to the show, you're never going to want to comment. But if something leads you to binge on the show and you listen to a bunch of them, then you're much more likely to want to comment. And so I think making it easy for people to binge on the content that we've made actually does make people more likely to want to comment. And even if it's a bit of a pain to comment, which it is on most
Then why
sites,
not just
to be honest.
then why not just have a page, which, and you've made me think that this is what we should do for texting. Why not just have a page that is literally the title binge, and then you click binge, and then it lists all of the shows with direct links on that one page, so that if someone does want to binge, they've got, like, they go to the binge page.
I think there should be a link to the audio on every single episode on the index, on texting.
On the
like,
index.
That would have saved me hours. Like, I wasted so much time getting the old episodes out of Dropbox. It was like the first 80 episodes.
Yeah.
And like I have RSI, so I don't want to like be clicking constantly. And
Well,
just,
I'm going to make, I mean, from a texting's point of view, with those 300 episodes, and I do want people to listen to the whole thing.
It's like the first 80 are hard to, or first, what was it? Yeah, first 70 to 90. I forgot how many weren't available on the.
Yeah.
There was like one feed that had starting at 180, then there was another feed. The Spotify feed went back to like 80 or so, and then all the others had to get on Dropbox.
Okay, I'm literally writing that down as a to-do. Binge link for texting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, like, I couldn't comment on them because it's closed down because you were getting spammers.
Yeah.
But that's like a separate thing. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the more people listen through whatever means, the more people will, the more that tiny fraction who binges on it increases, and the more that fraction grows, the more comments we'll have.
Well, we've already incorporated the feedback. We had the discussion. We spoke for 46 minutes, and I remember the time because I thought, okay, this is going to be a super quick conversation, and then when we ended the conversation, the line said 46 minutes, and I was like, God, it felt like 10 minutes. But
it was, yeah. It was quite a talk.
Yeah. But we've incorporated those changes, and that is on the Reactor.am site. But while I've got you, I do have a couple of other comments.
Yeah. And well, before you say that, I'll just jump in and say most of the stuff you suggested, I actually already agreed with. Like the order of the episodes, I hadn't intended that. I just only had one up to begin with while I was experimenting with it before deploying.
Yeah.
So, all right. What are your other
okay,
thoughts?
So these are just my UI thoughts. I guess they're criticisms. I mean, because criticisms is like a critique, but I don't mean it in a bad way, and you don't have to act on this in any way. But just as
it would have been way easier if you had them the first time. But yeah, because I've already published all the screencasts making the code to do this.
Well, I did already tell you this in that last conversation, but
yeah. Which one?
So I don't understand why it's like a UI shouldn't have to say title and summary and comments. Like if it's not really abundantly obvious that that's the title, then there's a problem with the UI. Like you shouldn't sort of say it and do you know what I mean? It should just, the whole thing, show versus tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think title is pretty obvious. The comments I added actually because you were worried about people not going and commenting. So I added that word.
No. I just think that, and also show listing, again, that seems redundant to me because it's obvious it's a show listing because, it's a list of shows. So I don't think you need this whole section here. I think you can just delete it basically. And then the only thing is that this doesn't look like a title because it's not big enough. If you still want to keep it in the...
you want it to be bigger? No, I did increase the size.
If you still want to keep it in a tabular format, then just make it bold, the same level as bold as the size. So basically, the boldness you've got on the word title, if you add that to the actual title, then it will look like the title. And then that'll be fine. So then all you'll need is you can just delete this whole upper section and then just have the shows along with the title and the abstract, and then it'll be fine. That would be my 2 cents.
I totally agree with bolding those and removing the word title. Show listing, I guess, could go either way. I do think there's some value in saying this is an MP3 link and that you can comment, and that there are comments.
Okay.
But one thing I had considered, which I didn't code yet, I just did I did get the comment aggregates set up on the back end, but I was considering having like parentheses after the summary and say how many comments. So it'd be like, Justin has been going deep into boot camp for new founders, pouring over 2 decades of notes from his own startups and those that he's mentored, ... Then in parentheses, put 3 comments or 1 comment or no comments.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
If we have that, then it's clear there are comments even without the summary and comments up top.
But why do you need to say this top of the table if the hover over the title would just be, the alt tag would just say MP3 link?
Oh, that's not an image, but I could add a hover.
What is it?
That's just Unicode. That's just Unicode.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, we'll just add a alt title, and then you don't need the heading of the table.
Yeah, well, that's all fine to me. Like that doesn't make it harder for me to use it the way I want to use it. I don't know why that displays that way on your computer.
That's weird, isn't it?
Let
me just go and have a look on
in Chrome.
I'm just going to have a look on Facebook. Look at that. That's nice. This is super inside baseball, so I hope that no one minds. But this is us talking about our show and like how it.
Yeah, I've never seen that display before.
Isn't that weird? Sucks.
I think
it's just like this tiny little pill in the middle. If you want to fast forward it, you're like screwed.
I think that must be like a Chrome specific thing it does with audio. What do the buttons do?
No, that's definitely not a Chrome specific thing.
What do those three buttons do?
Well, play.
No, on the right side, the 3 buttons.
No, I use the audio tag all the time. It normally stretches out. Something weird's going on.
That is weird.
I could probably, if I inspected this right now, I could probably go video. Why not? Why is not audio?
I guess Pinecast made it a video once, so maybe that's how Chrome handles video tags.
How do I add an attribute again?
Then it says type audio. Huh. Yeah, this I don't control though. This is just the embed.
Look, there you go. I mean, I just added a width 100%.
Okay, I can add that somewhere. Yeah, that's just, I have to make sure it's not broken on other browsers, but that's just the embed from Pinecast.
Yeah, so if you just add a style sheet that just says width 100% to that element, then it's going to fix it. There you go.
Yeah, well, that's an injected element, but I can do something.
Okay. Well, you'll work it out, but yeah. I mean, apart from that, it's great.
That is just so weirdly different based on your browser. Like, why am I like? I don't know why I've never seen that.
So you don't use Chrome?
I mostly use Firefox to develop, but I've got Chrome. I've checked. I mean, yeah, and I've also checked it out on my phone, and I've never seen that.
You're in trouble. Yeah. You're in trouble, Mark. You've been a bad boy.
I think the evil was injected by Pinecast.
Yeah,
but that I agree with you. That sucks because I click at certain points in the audio timeline all the time.
Yeah, right. You just want to go backwards and forwards. Okay, I'm going to stop.
What happens? Oh, I was going to say, what happens if you open? Like, what happens if you go to the index page and you middle click one of those MP3 links?
So go to the index page.
And then middle click one of those.
What's middle click mean?
You have three buttons on your mouse, right? Click the middle
No,
one.
I've got a trackpad.
Oh. Open link in new tab. It does it for that too. And that's just an MP3 file.
Yeah. Well, you do get a little bit
you
of
do. You get that
but
is
it's
so
tiny.
much. That's so much worse than what you get on Firefox.
Yeah, right. So even that would be better off to be wrapped in a page where we put our own player that at least extended it from left to right, rather
No, it
than.
wouldn't. No, it wouldn't, because then people couldn't right-click and download the MP3, which is like the first thing I would do.
Why can't you just make an HTML file that has a link that says download? So you wouldn't even need to right-click. You could just click the link. You just do a super simple HTML wrapper. Put this
from the index page.
Yeah, from the index page. So basically,
So I want to be able to download like 5 shows from here really easily.
oh, directly from here.
Yes.
Okay. So you want to go like this?
Yes. Like so the whole thing is like unlike Dig, like I don't want to click on a link and then not be shown the link, but just be shown that I'm going to be shown the link. I want to actually like get my information. Like I'm an Infovore. I want to access as much of the information as I can, gather all of it, and then go through it and process it on my own. I don't want hurdles, which is I mean, I will admit that's not the most common behavior, but I think there are a lot of people like me that like got used to 50 links per page on Reddit back in the day, and then later went to like Slashdot or Dig, and there's like only 4 or 5, and they've already read all of them, and it's like, okay, this site's dead to me now.
Well, I mean, I think that's fine. The only thing is that I think just once you're into the page, that should definitely be fixed, like stretched out, so that at least people can like browse it. As you say, that is working on Firefox here. Look, fine on Firefox.
And it's fine on Safari. Are you auto updating? Like, is your Chrome the newest one?
Let's see. Chrome. I'm going to have to head in about 7 minutes. So specific. 7 minutes and 25 seconds.
Well, you got stuff to do. I understand.
Official build. Checking for updates. Google Chrome is up to date.
Oh, you know what? I just updated mine, and I'm seeing it too. Yeah, that's really too bad. But now that I've reproduced it, that'll be easy for me to
yeah.
So I guess 7 minutes goals for next time.
Goals. Well, you, sir. What are your goals?
Okay. Diet goal. I'm going to aim for 6 days instead of 5, because I made 5 3 times in a row. And Alchemist Camp. My goal is to publish 3 videos, which sounds insane, but I think I can do it.
It does sound insane. It takes me, even just to do 1 2-minute audio tape, takes me hours.
Oh, well, mine are like 25-minute screencasts.
I mean, it's just like that. I couldn't even imagine how much time that would take.
I'm pushing hard on that. I'm also going to do some work on Phoenix Igniter, at least documentation. If nothing else, I'm going to document the stuff I've got done, because one of those people had emailed me asking about it. I was like, oh shoot, so you're about to launch a thing, like what's most urgent for you? And he named a bunch of stuff that I've already implemented.
Oh really?
Yeah,
oh, cool.
I'm just like my the API docs are there, but the nice ViewPress docs on the site are lagging behind. So I've got to get that done. I didn't respond to the Facebook recruiter, but they emailed me again last night, and they're like, "Hey, we have a slot, like in 3rd week of July." So I think.
Wait, a slot for a job or a slot for an interview?
A slot for an interview. I think it's like, I don't know. It's persistent enough. I think maybe I should just like suck it up and review some JavaScript, and then at least like eliminate that thing from my to-do list that won't go away.
I have no doubt that
I
I
don't
would
really
fail.
want.
I
I don't
would
really.
definitely fail something like that.
I don't really want a job in the U.S. right now, though. That's the thing. I don't
Yeah,
really want a job right now. I want
but
to
how
just want to work on my stuff.
we're just talking about schooling, like
Yeah.
unschooling, and
Oh,
how school is, everything that you do in school is such the antithesis to the real world. Like
yep. I'm going to
there's
send you an article we don't have time to talk about, but it's been
there's
so
almost
much on my
no
mind.
times in the real world where you get tested, except for one of these freaking coding interviews. That's like one of the only times where you get tested. But even that, I think, is just, there's no way. Look, I've been coding for 30 years and I would
Yeah.
not pass the same interview that you're about to do. There's no way I would pass it.
I hate those interviews, but I can't hate them that much because that's how I got my Silicon Valley career. Like like just on paper, there is no way they would hire. Like I worked at Groupon, which is the same kind of like their whole interview process was taken from Amazon. Um, like there's no way I would have been considered based on who I was on paper. I was like a Japanese literature major, and I'd lived in Asia for 10 years, most of which I was teaching English.
But I have seen some stuff coming out from Google where I think, oh, someone like that would have a chance. They're looking, they're Google seem to
They
be actively
would.
looking for interesting people who, like, they're not looking for specific qualifications. They're looking for outside the
So,
box thinking.
so their recruiter told me I got a 5 on their interview, which is like their highest rating, and
You
I
mean Google?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they had like the same kind of interview as Groupon almost. It was like it was all just like algorithmic solving puzzles, and then
Really?
like are you sure? Like what's the space time complexity? Or sorry, what's the space complexity of this thing they'd ask me about? And then I answered, and they're like, okay, so like given how fast that's growing, like what's the time complexity really? And just like digging into corners of the problem you might not have thought about. And it was basically just a math problem
Hmm.
where like I didn't see it the right way at first, but figured it out in the course of it. And you just get like 4 of those in an hour, and then on the on-site it's the same thing, except you have 4 or 5 hours of it
Hmm.
from 4 or 5 different people. And there's definitely a certain fitness to it. Like I'm not as good at that kind of interviewing now as I was,
Hmm.
say 6 years ago, because like when I got my job at Groupon, I was concurrently interviewing at like 20 places, and I did like 20 phone screen, like hour-long technical phone screens within a week, and then the next week I had 4 on-sites or 5 on-sites. So
I'm surprised that you're not too old as well for that, for them to be pursuing you, you know.
I well, officially there's no ageism in Silicon Valley.
No, I know, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm just because I thought you mentioned it was 6 years ago, which makes sense, but I didn't know that they were aggressively pursuing people sort of once they'd passed 23 kind of thing. I didn't know that they did that.
Well, I was over 23 then. I think it was harder to get an interview than if I had like just graduated. But I think as a rule, like if you do well on an interview with any of those big companies and then you go work somewhere else, like I went to work at a YC startup, Verbling. I think they just put you on a list, and there'll just be somebody will email you again every single year.
Gosh,
It
yeah,
just Facebook has been particularly persistent.
yeah.
Maybe like they really are having a hard time with hiring or retaining people, which would normally be a bad sign. But
I think you should take the job and then, as a gesture, resign with a big blog post.
oh
Oh,
gosh,
Mark Zuckerberg.
no, the thing. Okay, so I don't want a job, but the thing about Facebook that's interesting to me is I think it would level me up technically. Like I
Mm.
think I would meet lots of really smart people. I would learn a lot, and like it could be something that would pay off entrepreneurially in the long run.
Yeah. Well, it would also be nice to have, like an ATM run,
ATM run, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So sorry. So that was part of your goal to do that interview?
Oh yeah. So I'm going to do an interview probably in 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
So part of my goal is just dig back into JavaScript and do some toy problems, some like practice interview problems. Maybe 1 hour per day.
Okay. Any and exercise goal? Just keep it the same?
No, I've just got my habits. I'll go to the park and do some dips and pull-ups, and I'll go jogging.
All right. Well, my goal is to the boot camp. Same goal as it's been for the last 2 months. Okay, it's not a boot camp launch. It's a boot camp ready for launch. I just want to get the content finished, to get the female founders to review it, get the homepage done, get it on the main Nugget website, and then I will push it to Product Hunt. Because then the next piece is to be push it to Product Hunt, get a whole bunch of people who have read it to then review it on Product Hunt, and then try and turn it into a decent launch on Product Hunt. But I think the homepage might need a bit of work as well, because even for things you were saying, like just to get people in there, to show them the value, I don't think I've thought through the homepage enough. So that'll be the next thing.
I think it's just got to look easy.
Yeah.
People are lazy until they're hooked.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't get it launched, you got to rename it. Like, instead of Nugget Octane, it'll be like Nugget Butane. Or
yeah. Okay. Cool. So this is good. I hope we didn't get too much in the weeds about some stuff, but we'll see. Put it out there, see how it goes.
Yeah. I'm happy to rant about getting my information. It's all good.
That's fine. That's good. All right, dude.
All right.
I'll see you next week.